grey bush track trails. But what I wanted to get on today is, what I was about today is, after being injured January the 27th, slowly getting better with injuries, did my first half marathon last weekend. Woohoo! Very good, YouTubers. But what I'm going to do is get on today is just a bit of a race recap, and also what I learned in this recovering. You know, somebody else might be interested, but it's really mainly aimed at 60 age group plus, but it can apply to 40s, 50s, and 4 points I want to talk about. One is ego. How ego comes into running, and also patience is number 2. And number 3 I want to talk about is balance in running, and also number 4 is competitiveness running any distance. So to start off with, I'll just get on to a little bit of a race recap, then I'll get onto those points. And I just said before that it's my first half marathon, doing my first half marathon. What I was meaning is it's my first half marathon back from injuries, first half marathon this year, and I've done about 30 more half marathons, 7 full marathons, been running for about 12 to 14 years. So this injury has been the first injury in about 12 years that has stopped me completely running for a few months. So what I learned in the recovery, getting better, and doing the half marathon last weekend, Wellington half marathon, it was good. I sort of don't trust my personality, but on the night before it was raining, and I was kind of thinking, oh, what's my plan? You know, you always get a bit of a plan, what are you going to do for the day, and you know what your fitness is, and all that, how to approach it, because I was kind of thinking, oh, I just want to go, you know, I just want to, most times you just want to get to a race. Me anyway, I just want to run it, do PB, but can't do that always, especially when you're being injured. So yeah, night before, tossing and turning, oh, how am I going to do it? A little bit negative, raining, dark, still a bit of a sore knee. How am I going to do it? But it's the usual story. When you get up in the morning, and I decided to do it, and I had a bit of a game plan, a bit of fun game plan. And when you see the people all there, it's pretty awesome. Wellington Marathon. So my basic plan was, because I lost some fitness over those 3 months, 2 months without hardly any running. My basic plan was, I'll see how it goes, stay with the hour 45 pacer, and when I get to halfway point, turn around and see if I can catch up to the hour 40 pacer, which is sort of good. You know, it gave me a little project, a bit of fun there, a bit of fun to it, a bit of a plan, and yeah, and one thing that made me kind of really happy, a bit more cheerful mode, even though it was raining. It wasn't cold, it wasn't windy for Wellington, so that's amazing, that was awesome. But one thing that really sort of cheers you up is knowing other people have done a really good day in the marathon. And there's a little group that I ran with a motor marathon. I hope they don't mind me naming them on here, but they did awesome. Fana Gordon, he did an amazing job. About a 10-minute PB in the marathon. He did it in 2 hours 57. For 50-year-old, I think that's pretty high up in the actual, if you look up their abode for that age, championships. But anyway, and also Carl Clatters, he did a PB, 3 hours on the dot for the marathon. And also Jacob Taylor, he did a PB in the 10K. Whew, awesome. Just seeing people doing their own thing, you know. Sometimes it's good not to be going with a big PB. You get an absolutely different perspective on running and what people are doing, enjoying themselves. One reason I felt good just getting going is when I did the injury to the knee, January the 27th, I tried training up a bit. And I was determined to do Wellington around the base February the 26th. At that stage, it was a bit of a horror story because the knee couldn't do any running, couldn't run 10 meters without big panning up. So I walked that one, did it just under 4 hours. So one around the bay was good. My A goal was, big dream A goal, because coming back from injuries and lost fitness, was right from the start, from home the night before, was, you know, don't try and go hard out and get injured again. But my A goal was hour 40. If I can do hour 40 in the half marathon, that's bloody awesome. But second goal was to do, you know, 2 hours. 2 hours. There's a big difference from nearly 4 hours in February, so yep, happy with that. And C goal would have been just to finish it and they get a medal. Yep. So I went good, took off at the starting line, just determined to stay with the little group. It was actually a bit sort of hard getting the breathing going and that, but the plan worked out pretty good got to around the turnaround point, and I could see, because of the turnaround point, I could see how far away the hour 40 pacer man was. So for a laugh, I'll just see how it goes, see how the body's feeling. So yep, slowly just got a little bit more speedy, boosted it up. But what I mean by boosted is 60-year-old old man boosting along, and slowly got going. And when it came to, I just thought I'd run my best. And I dropped the pace down to, I don't know, 4:30. One on the last K was 4:15, so it was good. It felt really good that second half of the half marathon. And my time was 1 hour 41 and 30 seconds, which is high case because 30 more seconds and I would have caught that hour 40 pacer. So it's a good thing to do if you're doing any events. Just for a bit of fun. Start with one pacer and then see if you can sort of open the next pacer, you know. Some of you fast dudes probably do 2 paces on the halfway point. So that was good. But okay, getting on to the points that are in the training. So it's, to me, of course it wasn't a fast time, but you know, big learning. Okay, the first point under the heading is ego. Don't let ego ruin your running. in some circumstances, I don't know, ego might be good. But in my case, getting back to, trying to get recover and all that. So after a couple of weeks of getting the injury, went to the, thought I better go see what it is. Went to the doctor and they said we can get you an ACC, and so I went to the physiotherapist. Yep. And g'day, how you going? And what happened was, the first time I went to the physiotherapist, they do a diagnosis, yep. Something wrong with the knee, sort of thing. Meningus. He said probably wasn't a tear, but it was like an injury to the meningus, the knee. And second time I went to the physiotherapist, he gave me a few exercises to do, and I thought, oh yeah, because I didn't know. All I knew was I was really good last year, fit, still feeling really fit. And so I think it was the third time I went back to the physiotherapist, and that morning I thought, oh yeah, it's been about 3 weeks, a month since I had the injury, must be getting better now. So, and I go for 5k run, slow run around the block, and that was the total wrong thing to do. YouTubers, putting this on here just in case you get similar injuries type things. Always good to learn off other people's mistakes. Yep. So I thought I was doing the big 30k runs end of last year right up to Christmas type of thing. Pretty good, feeling good. But then, so that third time going to the physiotherapist, I thought, oh, he seems to be just giving me a bit of the exercise to do, and I must be alright. So yeah, but I got it wrong because I did that 5k in the morning, then went to the physiotherapist just that day. Then he had written out a list of how I'm supposed to get back to running. I didn't know all that. I just thought, here we go, yeah, let's give me these exercises to do those first 2 times and go for it. But he gave me these little lists of running, and I was a bit shocked because he said, it's going to take 2-3 months. And I said, oh no, I was stairs in the physiotherapist room with a sore knee for the 5k run I just did. And the truth is, I wasn't supposed to do a 5k run until the end of the little list he's given me. The list he gave me, I had to do 1 day, 2 minutes, 4 minutes walking, 1 minute slow jog. Do that for 3 days. And that, once you've done that for 3 days, every second day, you start off with like 3 minutes walking and a couple minutes jiggy jogging slow run. And you've written out this whole plan, so gradually come down to so you can do 20 minutes slow jog. So yep, I mucked that up, but it was still good, very good, keeping to that what the physiotherapist said. Another thing I learned from that is I've spoken to YouTubers. I've spoken to at least 3 people lately that, yep, same thing, they got knee problems, but I say to them, you go to the physiotherapist, what are you doing to get better? They said, oh, I'm resting and just walking. And I said to them, they're wondering why their knee's not getting better. And a lot of people think, oh, physiotherapist, too expensive, I'm not going. But here in New Zealand now is a pretty good system. ACC, you only have to pay $35 each visit. ACC pays the rest. I don't know how much that is, probably 100, whatever. So these at least 3-4 people I've spoken to see the same thing. Oh, a little bit resting and just walking. that's okay. But what the physiotherapist said, the big learning, is gave me 3 exercises to do, strength exercises that strengthen the knee. Because you can basically, the knee got sore in the beginning from probably, you know, mixture of things, but one main thing would be just running, continuous running without doing any strength exercises. So you have to do strength exercises, and he gave me 3 strength exercises slowly do over months. Yep. So that was the ego. My ego said, I've done 30k runs, I can do a 5k run easy. So don't let ego sort of get in the way and muck up your running, YouTubers. And also there's different types of ego. Like I learned in the run, this half marathon, where I said turnaround point, I was going to boost it up a bit, try and catch up to the hour 40 pacer. That's my plan. But I noticed with about, I don't know, 7k's to go, different runners would come up and they'd be puffing, and you know, there's a kind of a, you get in the energy. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, runners. You get in other people's runners struggling to get to the finish, and you kind of get a bit competitive. Oh, he's gone ahead, that one's gone ahead. But as soon as that happened, I felt my running actually getting a bit worse, and I thought, oh yeah, what am I going to do here now? Because you get caught up in the other people's huffing and puffing, struggling to get that finish line, get ahead a bit. But so what I did was, what made me completely change that, because I was actually, you know, that gets on to one of the last points I get onto about competitiveness. But anyway, when I changed, got out of that struggling to push ahead and different ones to the finish line, I thought the best plan I did then is just enjoy it, really enjoy the fact that you're out running, and that, you know, my plan was to get to the 1 hour 40 pacer, and I know roughly what paces I've done in the training. So that's a big thing, YouTube, another big learning thing. Get to know what pace you can do in your training. They didn't really come into it, the people who are struggling against you. So when I thought that, you know, I relaxed a bit, and well, the gel helped probably, Morton gel, but then I just picked up the speed. You know, last 5k's was pretty good. There was a couple of the Scottish Terriers there, whatever, struggling with getting in my way. Well, you know, I did good, got to the finish line, a little bit ahead, not worried about that. But that's what you know, so that's it. You know, I'll cut there for a minute, so it's not just one big long video, YouTube. Woo! Woo! Oh, guess where we are? Woohoo! Guess where we are? Woo! Up in the clouds on a sunny day. Woo! Well, it's good when you can do a half marathon, YouTubers, and survive. Survive it, okay? And YouTubers, next point I want to get onto is, of course, that leads on to patience. Big test of patience. You know, if you want to recover, you got to have the patience. Too much, and you're another 3 months hobbling around, whatever, with your injuries. You know, it's hard to get it exactly right, but patience. Definitely big learning, patience. Patience not only to get, you know, your body right over that injury, but there's a good test on how much you like running, you know, because you lose fitness not doing so much running. So everyone knows who's been doing running, got any injury, definitely patience. Patience with yourself, just patience to see it a little bit more on not just 2 weeks later, months later. You know, still book a half marathon or something. That's what I did for months later. You know, even if you're not fully right, but you just gotta get right. And it's not the end of the world if you've got to do a walk or so jog on that marathon, half marathon, 10k that you signed up for. Okay, patience. And the next really important point I want to get on to YouTubers is balance. Very important. I've learned that. Oh, sorry about the lens steaming up a bit. It's just cold this morning. These GoPros are not that good on the cold. Yeah, and so that was number 1 point, ego. Second point, patience. Third point, balance. Probably one of the most important, what I learned this time around trying to come back from injury, because I'm no physiotherapist or anything myself. It's a little bit trial and error, and you've got to go a lot on how the body feels. And last year, when I was training up for marathons, half marathons, feeling fit, feeling awesome, in my training I do roughly an hour and a half in the morning running. So I wanted to keep that fitness up. So you have to get that balance. You can't run, obviously you can't run, or at the beginning you could hardly even walk with a sore knee. So to keep that balance up, in the beginning I might have done a bit too much because you get determined, you want to do, you keep that fitness up and get back quick as possible. So I decided to, when I was doing with the physio, I'd do the little bits of physio, walk, a few minutes run each day. But on the Tuesday and the Wednesday, I would do an hour and a half on the bike. And that sounds, oh yeah, that's of course obvious, you're going to do a bit of biking, but there's definitely a balance there, because too much biking you're going to definitely stuff the knee out to your injury. But I think that was very good, because I was still keeping that fitness going, and still definitely, you know, a couple of easy swims in the week. So that was a pretty good, I think, a pretty good decision to do that. I think I didn't do that. You know, I've seen people with knee injuries a year later, they're still not right, because one physiotherapist said a lot of people want to get back too quick and they're just injured again. So definitely balance, but not so, also balance in what you're doing. But as it came closer to this marathon, this half marathon, Wellington around the bays, about 2 months in, I was just starting to go from doing a 25-minute round the block 5k run, and then when I started to get onto a 10-minute, a 10k, it was harder on the body. So had to get that balance right. I decided I had to cut back the hour and a half doing hard tempo bike riding, because that's keeping the tempo threshold fitness up a bit. But there's definitely a bit of a balance when I lifted the Ks up from 5k to 10k, so decided to drop the biking back to, instead of 30k bike rides, kind of hard tempo efforts, drop the bike ride back to 15k's a couple of times a week while I was doing the 10k's, and that helped. But it's pretty interesting because I don't like getting into the technical details of thresholds and zone 1s and 2s and 4s, but about 3 weeks to go before this half marathon, went for a 10k run, and it was really hard, you know. Just I feel a lot more putting and huffing, and I think that's because I dropped the biking. So that biking was a big, doing those hour and a half biking, it was building up a good aerobic fitness. So it's definitely a balance act to get those right. So I increased the biking a bit more, and no, the knee was coming right, so added in one long run, semi-long run, in the weekend from 10k to 16k, and coming to about 2 weeks to go, did a 10k run, and found it really hard, choking, and I wondered what's going on here. I'm doing biking, I'm getting fit, but over that kind of long term, 3 months, you lose running for fitness. You definitely lose running for fitness, but getting that balance, I think I really did the right thing there. Yep. So then I thought, because after the 10k run, one of the first 10k or 16k runs I did, one of the 10k run, I realised that anything more than about a 4:40 pace was really hard, really like huffing and puffing. Gave me a surprise. I thought, yeah, it must have been still fit, can still do what I did close to last year doing all these biking, but no, it's not like that. So making that decision to just stay with the 4:45 pace, I think was perfect balance. YouTubers, I don't know if you've been in that situation before. You had a bit of an idea of my threshold, what my threshold was for running. I think the threshold is, correct me if I'm right, people, the threshold is what you can run for what, an hour, is it? An hour? All I know is if I ran faster than about 4:40 because I lost fitness and all that, really having a pumping. But if I stayed with the hour 45 pacer, well, that worked out. And in the second half, I found I could just boost it along a little bit above my threshold. So that's it. That's that one. And that was balance. Get the balance right. It's awesome. So it's amazing. I'm glad I've always done a bit of swimming and a bit of biking, because it really does help, YouTubers. Absolutely does help. There's there's no other way of looking at trying to get right. Just keep running from your injury. Oh no. So now on to the next point. Last point is competitiveness. Question of the day, YouTubers, if you made it to this part of the video, is, do you really have to be a competitive runner to be a good runner? Do you have to be competitive to be a good runner? I believe absolutely not. Maybe to be a great runner, yeah, but I'd say anything up to about definitely 3-hour marathon, I believe you don't have to be a competitive runner. I've found the only person you're really competing with is yourself. And me personally, you start getting into other people's egos and age groups, you actually go backwards. But if you compete against yourself, it's way better, because at the end of the day, it's just fun, enjoying it. Yep, maybe if you're doing a super fast run, it's competitive. It's a competitive sport. But yeah, so what do you think, YouTubers? Thanks for watching, and I'll just get on with this 10k run. I'm going on a bit today, but there are some little important facts I'd like to note down there for getting better from naught running, where you can't even walk 10 meters, to first half marathon after being injured. YouTubers, woo, all good. And over 60s. Over 60s can do it, no problem. Do it right with a bit of balance. Don't let ego get in the way too much. And have patience. And be competitive, but not too competitive. Up to you. Good on, YouTubers. Thanks for watching. Awesome. Woo! See you later.